Good afternoon. We will call to order the Community Relations Recreation Activities Board meeting. Today's date is March 21st, 2023. Time is 6:16 p.m. Go up roll call. Florelba Wright. Eugene Stanley,
Present.
Brian Dennis,
Present.
Angelina Roberts. Magdala Cherry. Deacon Stanley, will you lead us in the invocation, please?
Father God, we come to you right now, Lord, for understanding and prayer, Lord. All minds be on one accord, that we may, as a board, guide the city in the way that you, in the direction that you will have it to go. Lord, we thank you for being God all by yourself. We ask that you bless everyone in this meeting, Lord God, and the ones that's not here. In Jesus' name, everybody say amen.
Amen. Now we have the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have a report from Parks and Recreation Director Zanya Ray.
Good evening, board members. We have the following events that will be coming up in the next couple of months. It will be the Easter Jam, which is next month. Also, we have the football and cheer banquet, which will be Friday, March 31st at 7 p.m., which is semi-formal at Shamandi Village. We also doing a recognition of Miss Sherelle Johnson, which was one of our team moms doing the football program. So we're gonna acknowledge and do a pre-ceremony thing for her on Friday of the banquet. Also, we are preparing for this Saturday. Commissioner Kelly is having his community cleanup at Ingram Park so that we can get Ingram Park cleaned up so that we can open it up to the community within the next 2 months. Also, we just completed basketball and we're in the process of, well, we're in the mid position of the track and field. So we had a track meet this weekend as well as Vice Mayor having the swimming pool, spring break swimming pool event, which was a success as well. So if you have any ideas or anything that you look forward to my department helping you with, just reach out to me and we'll make sure that it's taken care of. That's the final report.
Now we have discussions. Discussion F1, introduction of new board members and selection of chairman and co-chairman. We can open the floor for discussion now.
The process, how did this process proceed? Is it nomination from the board? Members of the board, I'm sorry.
It has to be a motion and a second.
The motion on the floor to move to recommend that Brian Dennis be the chair for the community relations board.
A motion. Got a second motion?
That was right.
Ms. Wright. And motion. Any third?
No.
Perfect.
Third motion.
He can vote for himself.
Yes.
And he's a.
I fourth the motion.
Okay, let's call for the vote. Wright,
Yes.
Stanley. Dennis,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Motion's passed for Brian Dennis to be the chair of the Community Relations Recreation Activities Board. Second discussion, F2, introduction of Community Relations, Recreation and Activities Board ordinance. Oh, before we do that, we need a motion for a vice chair.
I make a motion that we have Angelina Roberts as our vice chair.
A motion second,
I second.
Wright,
Yes, go ahead.
Stanley. Dennis,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Motion passes. Angelina Roberts, co-chairman. Next item is introduction of Community Relations, Recreation and Activities Board ordinance. You all have any discussion on this? You've all received a copy of this, the ordinance? And do we have any discussions in regards to the ordinance?
Not for me.
Not for me.
Not for me.
No.
Okay. Next discussion item is new business. The floor is now open for a discussion of new business.
Deacon Sandy had some recommendations. You say you had some suggestions for a park, some things for a park.
That's right.
You said you had some ideas or some activities you wanted to recommend as far as the board, when you spoke to me a couple of weeks ago.
I was talking about some activities for the park. I'm affiliated with a veterans program. I was talking to some of the people pertaining to helping different. I know the last event we had was with Commissioner Titus. We had a what do you call it, gospel explosion, which was very nice. We dedicated to one of the veterans in this community. There was died. Anyway, we dedicated to him. We had a lot of good stuff going on. Then we were trying to do a different type of programs like culinary arts on the park, teaching the kids how to cook and stuff of that kind of nature. I was talking to Ms. Ray about certain programs that we can have. I would like to see if we can bring that gospel explosion. We had WMBM out there. I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It went well. So it's different type of events where we can keep our kids motivated, want to come to the park and participate. and activities that we have, because the parks are for them, you know, and keep them out of trouble. So, any more, programs, anything that we can gear towards the kids, to keep them coming to the park, and I'm down for it. I'm really concerned about them, you know, so, whatever we come up with, pertaining to them first, I'm game. Okay. So I really want to see a lot of more activities and programs, fun programs, for them. So I was talking to Ms. Ray about bringing more of, initiative programs for the kids.
I also want to piggyback with him. I serve, well, I help with some of the organizations against gun violence. We could do like a workshop. A good friend of mine who is Susan Bullets for Life. She could do a workshop for the kids. Those about, I work with her. So she takes a bullet and makes it out of bracelets. And her husband is the president and CEO of it's called I Squad, which is also a positive rap group who comes out for the kids and so forth. And so that's something that we can bring out to the park for the kids, as well as the Circles of Brotherhood. We could have them come over too and talk to the kids about, you know, against violence and so forth. So them three work together. So I could give them a call and bring it to the park and have just like a day against violence, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, because we have a lot of, veterans in our community, that has stories to tell, or to acknowledge, or to bring acknowledgement to the youth, about what's going on, something else. So I have contact where I could have them come in, and talk with the kids, you know, the activities and stuff of that nature, you know. So it's a lot of things that this board should be geared around the kids. I feel should be geared around our youth, because they're next. One of them might be sitting here in a couple of years. So, really, I'm geared towards them. Anything that I could come up with. I've been talking to Ms. Ray pertaining to things of that nature.
Deacon Stanley, being the criminal justice chair for the NAACP, I'm the boot camp coordinator that deals with the youth in Miami-Dade County Boot Camp. I totally agree with you that we need to bring something to our city to give the board, give our mayor and commissioner something that's valuable that they could bring and help our residents and our young folks not get into trouble. Even though our city hasn't had major violence in it, as far as our young folks, it's still, it is better to be proactive than reactive. So I'm pretty much in agreement with everything that you said thus far. So let's sit down and see what we can give to the parks director and the park secretary, especially when it comes to the gospel fest. Being a pastor, understand about you losing young folks and losing their lives, and having their mothers and fathers and their family members go through situations that are dire, when we really need to be focusing on our youth to become grandparents, allowing them to live and become old. So I am in total agreement that we need to bring something that's valuable to the city, bring something that's back. And I think we as a unit could be a very active board that would give our mayor and commissioners something that they could be proud of and to put their yes vote behind. So I'm in total agreement with everything that you've spoken, and the same thing with Ms. Wright as well.
I have a suggestion when it comes to Veterans Way. We need to have something that focus on towards our veteran. And we can do a veterans outreach so that we can assist some of the veterans in Opa-locka. Because I think somewhere down the line, we're losing the most important people in our community.
Yeah. Well, some years ago, I did I took a couple of youth and we did a survey to find out what area all of our veterans living in.
Mhm.
And we come to find out that the majority of them stay across the track on Rutland Street, going back to 27th Avenue. The majority of them live in the homes in that area. So I was with a Make-A-Wish Foundation right here with I forget her name. And I did a survey pertaining to them, letting them know that we had this particular program that could help them, find jobs, or if they need legal help or what have you. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how loaded we are as far as the veterans are concerned. I didn't want them to feel left out. So I took time myself to do this survey to find out where they were at. But I have records of where they live, where they stay. So I'm very fond of our veterans, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want them to feel left out of this community, because they're a very big part of this community, very big part. And not having anything tangible for them also is slap in their face. They should be able to come within the community and have recreation. The airport is a big part of our community. They need to be able to have a museum or something like that. Since Opa-locka is a base around military, anyway, they need to have like a little small museum there somewhere here for them to be able to share the experience with our youth. It would be a great thing if we can work towards something like that.
Why don't we target not only veterans? We can target the veterans even with our children in the community, but we divide it upon areas. If you focus on the east side of 22nd Avenue for one setup at a time, and then you do the south side of Opa-locka, you do the west side of Opa-locka, and then you all come together and you combine all your events together, then we'll target everybody in the
I
community.
guess they should now elders.
Exactly, because what happens is Shabani Park has a lot of events, but on the east side, we don't have them because of the locations, the status of our parks and recreation departments. We have an overhaul coming. We're going to come into the new millennium with 2023. But we have to have an outlook to make changes. Anything that's stagnant, we are not going to move Opa-locka. And that is the problem that we have in our parks department, our community at large. So if you target one scenario, one particular set of people, it won't work in Opa-locka. So if you go to Shabani Park, you have something to target everybody in the community, where the children are concerned, the veterans are concerned, trouble you, violence, everything. You do a combination. That's one particular area. Then you go to Ingram Park. Then you target that particular area. Siegel Park. You go in the areas of Mary Brown Apartments. You have to do outreach where it cover the whole entire city of Opa-locka. The apartments, the guarded Gloriana apartments, that's another scenario. They have a hall, a location where we can go and meet up and to reach as many people as we would normally reach. And it has nothing to do about who sits. Titles doesn't mean anything when you don't do work. Everybody have to come together. We have to agree to disagree on certain things, and we're gonna move it. I might not like something that someone says, we might not agree, but if we come together with one sound mind, we can move the city of Opa-locka. And the city of Opa-locka has a lot of issues because everybody is one-sided here. We need teams. We need teams of facts, teams the ability to grow. And we lost that years ago.
Mm,
For a person that been here for 54 years,
mm.
I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, I've seen everything. But you cannot grow Opa-locka until everybody get on the same page and want change in this city.
I agree with you because a lot of people want change. And we also have to target the people that are the demographics is changing as well. We don't only have now the blacks and the browns, but we also have Hispanics too. So we have to focus on them also. Everyone, because they're the ones that, I mean, I talk to a lot of them and they feel left out. Because things are not, but like you said, it's not about us, it's about the city, and it's about bringing our city moving forward and making a change. Another activity that I wanted to bring is like probably a night out in jazz, you know, like where we could have like a jazz concert, you know, and everybody bring their chairs and sit back, and we could have vendors or we could have food trucks that night and come over and just have like a nice nice time.
That's what the karaoke.
But a lot of people do, it's different activities, you know? But you might like karaoke, a lot of people might not like karaoke, a lot of people might like jazz. Well, like he said, the gospel fest, you know, you just said it, we have to come all together, we have to service everyone. So karaoke, yes, it's good and it's nice, but a lot of people don't want to come. You got elderlies that don't want to come to karaoke. So you have some that would like to come to the gospel fest. You got some that want to come to the jazz, but I think that jazz, and not bringing the other city because this is our city, but Miami Gardens had it and it was wonderful. I mean, out in the stars and, you know, they brought their chairs, they brought their blankets, and it was a very nice time out there with food trucks and everything. So that's something that we could bring, you know?
I think as a newly elected chair, there's a lot of ideas that's going around that's very positive. And the one thing that I can say is being a former United States Marine is that color don't have a fight in it when you at war. We have to, there's enough bright ideas up here to where we could give our commissioners something to actually vote on and to bring that to fruition with our citizens. So I think as a board that we see that we're all moving in one direction in the right way. And I believe that the mayor commissioners that appointed us here put us here just for what we're doing right now to be able to get things accomplished. So I think in between now and the next meeting, we should be individually meeting with the Parks Director to bring forth ideas and be able to come next month with a meeting and an agenda to where we can start beginning to move things forward for our veterans, which I would like to do on the behalf of former Commissioner Alvin Burke and those that serve, our seniors who deserve more and should be getting more and targeted, along with our middle-aged parents and our young folks. I think that this is what this board is designed to do as a community relations and parks board and activities board. We have to be able to create activities and things that will build the relations in the community so that we could get this community moving in one direction. I think the mayor and commissioners are doing just great right now, but at the same time, they put us here for a reason. And I think this will be the board that'll make the difference for our city. So I will hope that the positive energy that we have up here, that we continue that energy and meet with the Parks Director and her secretary and be able to create an agenda and facilitate that agenda so that we could give our commissioners and our mayor and commissioners something to vote on and something that our residents could be proud of to say that they're here. Now we know that the summer is coming up and our kids will be out. And as the old folks used to say when I was small, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So we have to be able to give our youth something to do while their parents are at work so that they don't have to worry about what their children are doing. They at least know where they're at. I think we have enough responsible people that work for the city of Opa-locka that has been hired on our parks to be able to facilitate programs that would not only flourish, but that would bring attention to the city in a positive light, that would also allow the mayor and commissioners to be able to rehabilitate this city by saying, look, this is what we're doing. We have a fresh start. A fresh start. So let's create an agenda, create agenda items by meeting with the Parks Director and her staff for our next meeting, and then begin to facilitate those actions that need to be taken, the steps that need to be taken. Because the one thing that I do know about the city of Opa-locka, these 4.4 miles are very small, but there's a lot of things that go on. So we have to be diligent in the way we move, but we also have to be intentional with the way that we move so that we can get the necessary and positive results.
Well said, very well said.
And I second with you because I don't think that our residents need to go to the next city or the city next to enjoy
Yeah.
farmer's market or anything like that when we could have it in our city. That's something that's why, like you said, and with everyone here, that's why we're here, to move it forward, to bring those activities to this city. So they don't have to go to Miami Gardens or North Miami Beach or wherever they go to get activities. We need them here. And so it's all about networking too. When you network with the right people, you'll be surprised how many people say, well, yes, we'll come to Opa-locka. All you have to do is, because I do that all day.
That's what you know.
I do that. I network all day and I'm always talking about Opa-locka. How do you bring it here? So it's about networking. It's about calling back people. It's about having people, new people bringing resources so we can make that flourish in our city.
Chairman, Mr. Dennis, can you open the floor for public comments?
The floor is now open for public comment. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Natasha
Good evening.
Irvin, 670 Dunat Avenue. I used to chair this board. I love it. I loved your ideas. I love the gospel explosion, the jazz concert. Sound like a whole weekend to me. I know our Alvin Burke tried to do like a music festival, and this is exactly what this seems like to me. Jazz concert on Saturday, gospel explosion on Sunday, something on Friday, I don't know, but I love it. All we need is a date and start putting it together. I love it. I love it. Veterans and youngsters, you all spoke about our veterans and our youngsters. I would like to bring the two together because I'm sure a lot of our veterans' houses could use a little work.
Yeah.
Sound like we need to put that 14U to work with a little paint, a little cutting of the grass, helping our veterans as they helped us, I would love to see something like that happen. I'm excited to work with you guys. I'm your #1 fan, I promise you. And we have events. We know that we have getting the information out to our residents is a little challenged right now. We do have a PR firm that's helping us, and hopefully more of our residents can get the information that we have events for them.
Mhm.
Now, I know that I do the best I can to promote my events. From the Spanish, I even found out that we have a nice bit of Asians here in our city. And I reach out to everybody who shows up the day of your events. You can't help it. But everybody's knows, we put our flyers in English and in Spanish. We kind of miss out on the Creole, but we do get the English and the Spanish. But I would love that culinary program. Ms. Ray will tell you, I have discussed that with her several times. Our previous director, I discussed him with that many of times. I think that we Parks definitely need their very own grant writer. So that we have the space, we have a huge kitchen that's a storage room. We need to figure out some funds, well, maybe I might need to figure out where we can get some funds to get that kitchen at Shrubundy to be an actual kitchen so that we can teach our children and even some of their parents how to cook. And I would be
I've been
we
trying
are
to do that for a long
between me and Chef George, I'm sure we can teach a couple of lessons around here. So it's something definitely that I think we need to work on. But I'm excited, for our music weekend, music festival, however y'all want to call it, whatever name you all give it. I'm ready. We just need a date and do some strenuous planning. Thank you all. Congratulations, Mr. Chair. Congratulations, co-chair. Congratulations, board members. I can't say Coach Pookie. Coach Swift, Secretary Swift. And thank you, Mr. Wills, for helping out, and Director Ray. Thank you all so much. I will be at all of your meetings. Thank you.
I
Thank you,
remember.
Vice Mayor. Are there any other comments? Go ahead, Ms. Ray.
Oh, okay, also, I forgot to even let you know that also they prepared the flyer. We just waiting to get it to the PR and approval from the manager in regards to registration will be officially open for football and cheer as of April 1st. Also, the seniors will be going on a trip this year for a week. So they're doing some fundraising as we speak, as well as us putting in some different things for them to be able to. They're going to Savannah, but it's like several different locations. But I know one of the starts is from here to Savannah, Georgia. So they'll be going to different areas. I will unfortunately be a part of this trip. So I get to be with the seniors a whole week. And also the next meeting that y'all have, I will bring also the Parks and Recreation Superintendent, because he will be also a part of the major planning and different events, to where it might be a meeting that I might not be here, but he will be the designee to be here to make sure that the meeting the meeting go on without me. And Ms. Swift also will be your permanent board secretary. And Ms. Swift, last name is Rutherford. Rutherford, I'm sorry. So, but my office is open at any time. If y'all need my cell phone, I can give you my cell phone number either tonight, or I will give you a business card the next meeting, and you'll be able to contact me at any given time or email me. And I'll make sure the secretary prepare everything that y'all need me to prepare. She also gonna prepare the chairman's report, a summary of the report tonight, so that we can make sure Chairman Dennis will have his report for tomorrow night for the commission meeting tomorrow night. Okay.
Ms. Ray, just briefly, you said that the seniors was raising funds for their trip.
I think they was talking about doing a donut sale or something they wanted to do. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe we need to just begin to start looking at things, since they're already in place with doing that. Maybe we need to start looking for different areas of donations, because they're seniors, they've did their time. So we actually need to start looking for funds elsewhere. And even if we have to do some type of fundraising or grant writing ourselves to help them, I'm quite sure that there's an avenue that where all they will have to do is just pack their bags if we do the necessary legwork for them. So let's begin to show our seniors and our veterans something that's completely different than before. So,
Ever.
I would definitely, as a chair, begin to see what type of grants that we can find for our seniors. The one thing that I do want to concentrate on as a chair is strictly for everything within the 4.4 miles of the city of Opa-locka, just strictly for our residents,
Mhm.
not residents coming outside of the city to come in, but strictly to benefit the residents of our city. I think we have a unique situation here, none like I've ever seen in America. So I think we definitely need to just focus on what we have here. We know that the county and other municipalities have their programs,
Mhm.
but I think we could create better programs just with our own people instead of having different agencies from outside come in, when we could do what we need to do for ourselves.
I agree.
Um,
And I will get with you in the dates, because they have like, each month they have a deadline. So I will give y'all, the board, a list of the dates that we might have to meet as far as the funding, as far as them to be able to take this trip. Because I know it's in August, the end of August to September 1st, but I know it's a week.
It's,
It's a week, but they have like each month we have to send over a certain amount of money each month on behalf of that event. But I'm also looking to their budget and see exactly where we can kind of like meet. And then it won't be so much that we have to fundraise to try to cover.
I have a question. So if we have activities for them to raise the money, do they have like a specific account wherever we raise? Like say, for instance, we could have a big yard sale
Mhm.
and everybody in the city, because we all have clothes and things. I threw out like bags of clothes the other day, or even kids' clothes that we could all like sell and make a big yard sale and have different the restaurants, donate food or something like that. And we could have that in for our seniors. And that'll be a donation for our seniors. Do they have like a bank account or something that would go into, so they won't run into this problem anymore?
Well, the seniors have an account within the budget, but I think with the money dealing with Diamond Tour, any funding that we raise or anything dealing with that, Ms. Didi is actually paying Diamond Tour. So it's going directly to Diamond Tour.
is there anywhere that we can get a direct cost of what the trip costs? I mean, a
Yes.
direct,
I'll find
paper-
out directly from her tomorrow, because I leave on Thursday. So I'll make sure everything that I need to take care of with her, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I'll make sure y'all get a copy of it or a report on what the total amount will be for this trip.
You said, Ms. Ray, you said that our Optimist, our football cheerleading program, that starts,
April 1st.
that's when the registration starts. The actual
Yes.
season starts when?
The actual registration start, that's the official date.
It's the official date. What I'm asking for, when does the season start? Except when does football season start?
Game starts in August, but actual practice starts actually April 1st.
Okay, so
Because they
we,
have to get in 2 weeks condition. They have to do at least 2 weeks, 10 days or 20 days. If we don't do the 10 or 20 days, we can't put them in any equipment. So we have to make sure they're consistent. They can't come 2 days here, miss 3 days out of that week and come back the following week and they say, oh, that's the time. No, they have to do 10 days, period, or 20 days
Okay,
before we dress them.
okay, I know we have we know of 2 elementary schools and then quite a few charter schools.
Mhm.
I want to be able to find out what residents that we have in the city to be able to keep our talent within the city. Not going to Charles Hadley, not going to Liberty City Optus, not going to Northside. We want to be able to see what do we need to do to keep our talent home. We know that we're winning championships, but we want to keep everybody home. We want to make sure everybody stays home and give everybody an opportunity. So I want to try to set up a meeting with you and your staff so that we could discuss this and see what do we need to do to keep our talent home, and what funds do we need to raise so that all they could just have to do is take a pen and sign their name and they could be able to play without paying.
Okay, I have a question. Are we waiving the fee for this year also?
For football, I gotta get with the manager on that, but right now we might have to because we're still in that straddle of Miami Gardens, the Boys and Girls Clubs, and those different organizations which are still free. So if we charge any fees, that means you're gonna lose your kids. Cause that means all the kids probably gonna end up at Bunch Park, or they're gonna end up at the Boys and Girl Club.
Okay, another question. Do we have a package in play? In a package? Do we have any packages in order already? Everything number wise? Because once you put the package together, I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. Once you put the package together, if it's $200 upon registration, that should be their number per registration. Optional, but if you want your child to have the personal items, you have to purchase those things.
Well, Mr. Griffin, which is the athletic coordinator for the program, he's preparing the information. He also prepared the flyer for me. He sent to me last night, so I had to drive the seniors today, so I wasn't able to forward it to the manager, but the manager will get the flyer on tomorrow morning so that we can get the approval of that. And then his recommendation is that we, if we waive the fee, that it's mandatory that the parents purchase a package. So whatever vendor that we're gonna use as far as those packages, the parents would have to pay that fee to
For the vendor.
so that we can make sure every child have the same outfit, same bag, same socks. We want to make sure that Opa-locka is uniform. And it was unique last year because we was able to put them in a set of uniforms and the coaches was in the same type of coaching staff uniform. So this year I want all the coaches to have the same uniform that represent Opa-locka. And then if the coaches want to get individual coaching staff for their games, that will be fine. But as far as we go to coaches clinics and different events where we go as a whole, as an organization, it's mandatory on my behalf that we all have the same shirts when we go to those events, so we can look uniform as an organization instead of everybody looking any kind of way.
Okay, previous situation issues have come about. With children, some can pay and some can't pay. How do we separate the two? I mean, we've been doing this a long time. So you put it on paper that it's mandatory, but you're gonna find that a couple of parents, not everybody, because some people just don't want to pay. Some people really can't pay. That's when packages come into play, where you have 5 kids in one family and you will not pay for 5 kids. It's impossible. I mean, the fundraising and to put things in motion, everybody knows that this not a cut and chase situation. If you've been doing this, Opa-locka boosters have carried the program for the last 9 of the 10 years, the last 9 or 10 years, the last couple of years. And where it's all set, far as funding, something has to be put in place. Now, I'm not saying it because I am a part of Opa-locka boosters. Something has to be put in place where Opa-locka boosters can help fundraise to get our numbers back up for our kids. Everybody that's sitting on the dais don't have kids on the park. Some of them don't have kids on the park, and it's not a priority. But the ones that actually follow the park knows that we need numbers, and in order to get the numbers, Opa-locka boosters will help them get the numbers that we need to get to make it happen. We took 60 kids to Orlando last year, and it cost not the city of Opa-locka, but the incorporation of the coaches and the parents that could pay, because you couldn't turn the kids away. $15,000-$20,000 that the city did not cover. So you don't want to fall in that situation when the end of the year come. My child can't go because I don't have the funding for it. So I don't know how it's gonna be written or how it's gonna be proposed to the dais itself. Something has to be done where we do an incorporation, where we can help them get their numbers like we've been doing. Every park director before you, the last 15 years with Mr. Brown has been incorporation of Opa-locka booster program, helping Mr. Brown make it happen for the children of Opa-locka. We don't want to find ourselves on the defense when we have a lot of children out here that we're scrambling, we're losing our kids to the streets. And if we could stop our kids from headed towards the streets, that's what we need to do. I don't know how y'all gonna do it, but we need to do something.
I have a suggestion well, I have a family member that used to be the president of the FYL, but a lot of times we could go out there and get sponsors.
Yes.
Like, for instance, I have a person who I work with her organization and my organization, and her nephew is a professional football player. Maybe I could talk to her and then he could probably come in and sponsor our kids. I know that with my family member, I'm not gonna mention him, but that he was a lot of these kids that he coached and things that sponsored the kids as far as helping them with the uniforms, helping them with sports. You have a lot of kids that have come out of this city or even in Carroll City or whatever that have made it to professional NFL. And if you, we have to go out there and look for sponsors. For instance, I mean, I'm pretty sure, and that's a tax write-off. I hate to say it, and everybody wants to help our youth, especially our youth are in trouble. So that's a heart calamity right now. Everybody wants to help the youth. So maybe we could have like look for sponsors that could do it, like, you know, and get some donations, because I understand that the Booster Club, like you said, and the vice mayor herself, have carried this for a long time. So now let's get some sponsors to help you guys out. You know, talk to different organizations, talk to different politicians, you know, that would say, hey, we want to put some money on our youth, you know, because that's what
Yeah.
Deke said too. It's about our youth right now. And like she said, a lot of the people right now, a lot of kids, their parents are struggling to even put some food on their table, but they also want their kids to participate. We have you know, a lot of the parents don't want to have their kids outside because of the gun violence, but this is a positive thing to help save our child. So let's start looking for sponsors. I mean, I would try, I mean.
You know, I've been on this board on and off, reinstated since 2006. And this has been talked about how could we, financial wise, what have you. Since I've been here, I've had a lot of hard people ask me, well, how could I do this? And how could I do that? How could I sponsor this? How could I sponsor that? It's a lot of people that I'm affiliated with, you know, that love our kids, that has offered to sponsor 10, maybe 5 kids that can't, like she said, that can't or cannot afford, the mother can't afford. But we never got around to this point. This point has never came to head. I've had a lot of people, because you know, I'm a deacon, I had a lot of people, because I was in this position in Opa-locka to help the kids, wanted to, hey man, can talk to somebody, how can I sponsor 5 kids? How can I sponsor 10? Hey, I'll sponsor the whole group if it's possible. So I think with her issue, sponsorship of the children that don't, mother, father cannot afford, or don't have the money, sponsorship would be good. I will be glad to be a part, any kid, mother or parents may not be able. I know I can find sponsors to take care of that because, I don't want to see no child with a sad face because they're not able to participate in something they dearly want to participate in because mama or daddy is not able to. Somebody out there, somebody out there got to understand that our kids are very important to us, and they going to hell in a handbasket right now. You know, look at the news, they fighting every day, what have you. That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's our fault. That's our fault. We see that mess on the news. That's our fault that this is happening because we ain't taking the necessary steps in order to invent it, to keep it from happening. That's our fault. We need to really do something because our schools are going crazy. They're going crazy. And when I see this kind of stuff, I'm like, what can I do? You know, what can I do to stop this stuff? Because I'm looking at my future. Every day I'm looking at my future. This is crazy. So really we really need to come up with something. You know what I'm saying? We need to come up with something to stop this madness because our future is going nowhere. Nowhere. I'm scared to see, all these children doing what they're doing. It's a doctor, a lawyer, or a judge, and all this confusion. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So it's gonna take us. It's gonna take us, and then it's gonna take our churches. It's gonna take us collective to get on one accord. Everybody in every community will have to get on one accord to fix this thing. It's gonna burn up, it's gonna blow up in our face. And then we ain't gonna be able, it could be too late.
And I think that, not cutting you
Yeah,
off, but
okay,
I think that the
okay.
park should be a safe place for our children. Again, you'll be surprised how many people are from Opa-locka that have made it big. And we have rappers, we have athletes, we have everything. Why not go out there and talk to them or send them an email, or even sit with them and instead, like he said, it's time out. I'm as I sit here, I'm one of those that sit with people like mothers that have lost kids. Again, I sit with Susan Bullets all the time and I help her out with all of these, and just to see the tears of these mothers that have lost their children to senseless gun violence. Not so long ago, we had a workshop for the kids, and I think the vice mayor went. And none of those kids that were there were from Opa-locka. None of them. And we brought that workshop to Opa-locka so they could talk to positive people. We had coaches, we had the police, we had everybody, and nobody from Opa-locka, none of our kids were there. And that's what it is. It's going to take us to stop this gun violence. Because we all want to do something about gun violence, but we just sitting there and we just talking. And we're not doing nothing about gun violence. This lady, again, I always mention her, Susan Bullets. She does this out of her own money, left her job, and nobody supports her. So it's up to us. It's time out to just stop saying, okay, about gun violence, and we're tired about gun violence and our youth and everything, but what are we doing? It's time out to stop talking and start doing something.
The people of Opa-locka, everybody know. And they have lost so much trust in the administrative staff of Opa-locka. They have lost. I talk with her because she know what I do. I feed, what have you. I've been serving Opa-locka for a long time. They have really lost the faith and trust in the administrative staff. Oh, what I'm going there for? They ain't gonna do nothing. Why should I go to the hometown, this townhouse meeting? They ain't gonna do nothing. I'm wasting my time. You know what I'm saying? They have really, now they want to sell their homes. They don't want no part to do with our community because they have lost the faith and trust in the people that's running things. You understand what I'm saying? It's bad to say, the truth is the truth. But we need as a people that's trying to get this city back in order, to get the trust, not only in the parents, but in the children also.
Mhm.
You know, the children also, that's bad. You know, we need to make sure we get the trust back in our kids that will want to come to the park where they can be confident that they gonna have a good time and this kind of stuff. We need to make sure that we get our trust back in our kids and the residents community. Once we accomplish that again, we on our way. Now, when you say, well, we need Opa-locka to turn out. In this meeting, we need y'all to turn out here. We need y'all to turn out there. You'll be amazed at the turnout you will have. But now when you see it, it's like, hey man, I ain't finna take my job. I ain't finna leave my job because Opa-locka ain't gonna do nothing. That's crazy. So therefore, we as a board or as an administrative staff, whatever, we need to really think about, you know, change. And like she said, just the community now, multi-mixed Cubans and what have you, everybody have to be in this. Our Cubans have to come together with our Black residents, everybody have to come together as one to make this thing work. We can't have no separation. You know, Cubans on this side, on this side, everybody, like you say, have to come as a whole for this thing to work. And I can see it. I see it. It'll happen now. It happened, but it's gonna take us. It's gonna take us. When we come up here, be on one accord, you know, and not argue amongst one another. Don't know this, don't know that. We have to be together. When we come up here in front of the people, we have to have our stuff together. You understand? So we have to have it together. In order for them to build their trust in us again, we got to look like we doing something. You know what I'm saying? They're tired of this. You know, we losing Opa-locka because of that. We got great history here. We got a nice nugget. I would call it a nugget. It's a nice nugget here that we have. You know what I'm saying? But we need to be able to know what we got.
And you'll be surprised how many kids are left behind because
Right.
their parents do not allow them to go outside because of the gun violence. We got several hotspots in Opa-locka that I talked to several parents and they say, well, no, I'm not letting my son or my daughter outside because I don't want them to get hurt or something like that. So what happens to those kids? So they're left behind too. You just saying like the Booster Club, they provide free, you guys provided free football for these kids, but a lot of these kids, they didn't know because they're so sheltered inside. They didn't know that it was free.
I want to make a motion that we create a timeline for our next, set a date for our next meeting. But before I do that, I want to co-sign what Deacon Stanley and everyone up there has said. This is why the mayor and commissioners elected us. They chose us to be up here. They have enough faith in us, and this is the board that can actually get the city into the direction that makes our mayor and commissioners look excellent. The one thing that we have to do is be consistent. And even though we have the vice mayor in here with us now, we have to get the residents to come to this meeting as well, so that they can be able to put forth ideas and share their thoughts on how we actually move the city. Again, I champion what has been said up here. I believe that we will, in our time being a part of the community relations and park board and activities, that we will be able to bring forth everything that we said that we would do. I know it's kind of late part in the year, but I also would like for us to start looking toward next year and bringing back the Arabian Nights Festival. Things that made this city once thrive. And so, I see this is the third Tuesday of the month, so can we set, I want to Can I make a motion or do I have to pass it out? I would like to make a motion that the Community Relations and Recreation Activity Boards meet every third Tuesday of each month. Need a second. Need a second. Okay.
What do you say, the third?
Third Tuesday of each month. We can, and then we'll get back with the
Okay,
with the clerk's office.
I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I'm good with it. See if you can, wait on. You can make your final decision, but I'm okay with it.
So I'm gonna reiterate the motion and then someone can second it. I would like to establish the Community Relations and Recreation Activities Board to meet every third Tuesday of each month.
I second.
I third.
Can we call the roll, please?
Mr. Chair. Dennis,
Yes.
Mrs. Co-Chair Roberts,
Yes.
Board Member Stanley,
Yes.
Board Member Wright.
I'm not too sure. I gotta check my schedule at work. I don't want to commit to something and then I don't do it, so I know it's gonna pass, but. Okay, so at this time, I can't say yes or no, so I check.
Board Member Wright, you have to make a motion, yes or no.
No, at this time. No, at this time, because I can't.
Motion fails. Mr. Chair, would you like to close public
Yes.
comments?
Yes, we'll close public comments if there not any further discussion from the board. I'd like to make a motion for the meeting to be adjourned.
Second.
Third.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.